Okay, students, today we will do the digital communication subject. I will teach you digital communication subject, and today we will do the introduction about this subject. Firstly, I will introduce myself. Myself is Guneet Kaur, and I am associate professor in Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering. Okay. Next is what is the object to learn this subject? The objective of this subject is to be understand the basic of digital communication. Means in this we will also study the elements of digital communications like block diagram of digital communication. Then what are the various advantages and disadvantages of digital communication, then various theorems which are used for the communication purposes like Shannon, Hartley-Shannon law, and information, what is information and entropy. Then what will be the types of coding we can use like Shannon, Fano, Huffman, source coding. These all will be covered in the basic of digital communication. Now in the second phase, we will understand the pulse code modulation. In the pulse code modulation, we will learn about the PCM, that is pulse code modulation, then adaptive delta modulation, then adaptive delta modulation, then ISI, that is intersymbol interference, then I patterns. These topics will be covered in this phase. Now come to the third phase. In this phase, we will cover the various line coding and its properties, and the various line codings we will learn about the NRZ, that is non-return to zero, then RZ return to zero, and so on. Unipolar, polar, bipolar, various encryption and decryption techniques. These all will be covered in this third phase, that is understanding of the concept of the line coding. Now in the last phase, that is in the fourth phase, we will cover the various digital modulation techniques like ASK, that is amplitude shifting, FSK, frequency shifting, then is your phase shifting, then QPSK, and all these. Differential PSK, then QAM, these all the digital modulation techniques will be covered in this subject. So student will be able to understand the basics of digital communication, then understanding of the pulse code modulation, then understand the concept of line coding, and last is the understanding of the digital modulation techniques. So this was the objective of this subject. Now I will start my first lecture, and I will cover the various these topics in this introduction to the digital communication, where I will cover the topic introduction to signal and its types, then its advantages and disadvantages of digital representation. Then we will compare the analog signal and the digital signal. Then what is the communication, its importance, what is the communication process, then what are the various elements, then classification of electronic communication system, then need of modulation, then survey of communication applications, then classification of communication system based on nature of information signal, then what is the digital communication system and why we use digital communication, then last is fundamental limitation of communication system. Now I will start with the very first topic, that is introduction to signal and its types. So firstly, we will cover what is signal. Signal is a physical quantity. Actually, it is a physical quantity which contains some information and which is a function of one or more independent variable. So it will give us some type of information. And there are two types of signals. First is your analog signals and second is your digital signals. Analog signals. Okay, next is your analog signals. Analog signals are the signals which have the infinite number of different magnitudes, means different magnitudes or values, means it has the values or magnitude at every moment of time. So they can vary continuously with the time. Next, as you can see in the diagram, at each moment of time, means at 1.5 second, 0.19 second, 1 second, it has some of magnitude or values. at on each value of time. So they are continuous with the time. Now come to the next piece here, digital signal. A digital signal is one which changes between two discrete levels. So there were two discrete levels of voltage or values, and the levels of voltages can be 0 and 1, or true or false, or low and high. Means low will be at designated as 0 and high will be designated as 1, and true will be has the value 1 and false will has the value 0. So this is the digital signal having only two discrete levels, 0 and 1. Next is, as you can see in the diagram, 0 and 1 is shown. Next is the digital signal has only, actually the digital signal has only a finite, means not infinite like analog. It has finite number of predetermined distinct magnitudes. So digital signals actually are the discrete time signal. Discrete time signals means, as you can see in the diagram, previous diagram, between these two levels there will be no value. So if the number of distinct magnitudes in any digital signal is 2, then it will be of the type binary. If it has the 8 number of distinct magnitude, then the type of digital signal will be octal. And if it has the 16 number of distinct magnitudes, then the type of the digital signal will be definitely hexadecimal. Next is here, as you can see, this is the diagram for the analog or continuous signal. As you can see in this diagram, at every moment of time, means at 1 second, 1.5, 1.9, it has some magnitude, and the magnitude is given in the voltage, and the unit for the voltage is your millivolts. So they are continuous. Analog signal will always in the continuous in nature, and this is the diagram for the digital signal. They are not continuous in nature. As you can see, at 1 second and in between the 1 second and 2 seconds there will be no value. So at 1 second it has like 20, and at 2 it has 25, and at 3 and it has the value 30 in the voltage, and the unit for the voltage again is millivolt. So this is of the discrete type, because in between the two intervals there is no value. So it has the finite number of distinct magnitudes. Next is here. So this was the analog signal and the digital or discrete signal. Now, what are the various advantages? Now I will teach you what are the various advantages of digital representation of a signal. Why we need, or what are the benefits of a digital representation of a signal over an analog representation? First is immunity to transmission, noise, and interference. Means they are less immune to the noise and interference. Means effect of noise and interference is very less on the digital signal. Second is we can use a repeater for the long distance communication. Third is digital representation is more secure. The digital signal can't be stolen. Next is uniform format for different kinds of baseband signals. Means baseband signal means original signals without modulation, without any processing. Means it can use any type of different kinds of baseband signals can use this format. Means this can be all kinds of baseband signal can be represented in the form of digital uniform format, because it has only two values, 0 and 1. Next is storage and processing is possible. Means it can be stored, and processing of the digital signal is possible. Means we can store, and after this storing that we can process these signals very clear cut. Next is data compression and the image enhancement techniques can be applied. So we can compress the data, and also the enhancement techniques, image enhancement techniques can be applied to a digital signals, digital representation or digital signals which can't be applied on the analog signal directly. So these were the some of the advantages of digital representation of a signal. Now come to the next slide. We will learn about what are the various disadvantages of digital representation of a signal. First is transmission bandwidth is increased. By using the digital representation, the transmission bandwidth actually the frequencies, band of frequencies which are used, that would be increased. Next is system complexity is increased, because we know that since how system complexity is increased, because we know that our world is analog in nature. If we want to do the digital, we want to apply the digital processing techniques, then we should have the A to D converter, which you have already done in your digital electronics. We need A to D converters and D to A, that is digital to analog converters. So by using A to D and D to A, the system will become complex. Next is here, what are the various, now next is comparison of analog signal and the digital signal. First comparison, those signals which have infinite number of different values are called as analog signals, which have already I discussed with you. Next is digital signals, those signals which have finite number of distinct values are called as digital signals. Next is here, analog signals are continuous in nature, whereas the digital signals are discrete in nature. Next is triangular wave, sine wave. These all are the examples of your analog signals. And the examples of digital signals are like binary signals, square waveform. These all are under the category of your digital signal. Next, you can see the diagram. Analog signal is continuous in nature, whereas this digital signal is having the only two magnitudes. Next is sources for the analog signals are transducers and signal generators, whereas digital signals, the sources for the digital signals can be A to D converters, computers, data. These all are under the category of your digital signals. Now come to the next topic, that is your communication. Next topic is your communication. Okay, communication is the process of actually establishing the link. We have a dedicated link between the 2 points, between the transmitter and the receiver, for the information interchange, for the information exchange or interchange. Or you can also say that it is the process of conveying message at a distance. So we will send our signal at some distance. Then this is also called as the communication. So communication actually this process of exchanging information from one place to the another, and the different types of information signals can be used as sound, such as sound, picture, music, computer data. These all are the signals which we can send during the communication. Next is here, what is the communication system? Okay, when different communication equipment, we will assemble the different communication equipment for a communication purpose, then it is known as communication system. So that is known as your communication system. Next is your communication system. Next, the example of the communication system are like line telephony, line telegraphy. These all are under the category of your communication system. These all are under the category of your communication system. Then radio telephony, radio telegraphy, then radio broadcasting, then computer communication, television broadcasting. These all are under the category of your communication system. Next is here. Now the next concept is importance of communication. In this topic, we will came to know that important inventions in the field of communication. So, firstly, in the 1844, Morse code invented telegraph. Actually, Morse code means the communication which is in the form of dot and dashes, and which is used in the telegraphy. So it will be it was invented in the 1844. Next is your 1876 telephone was invented by the Bell Company for the communication purpose. Next is in the 1887 Hertz discovered the radio waves, means wireless communication is discovered. Next is 1895, Marconi demonstrated wireless telegraphy, means wireless telegraphy demonstrated by the Marconi in the 1895. Next is in 1901, Marconi made the first transatlantic radio transmission is done. Then is in 1923, television was invented. Next, in the 1940 to 45, radar is invented. Then 1954, color TV broadcasting begins, and then 1962, first communication satellite was invented. So this was the important inventions in the field of communication. Actually, there were in the communication, there were the two main barriers in the human communication. First is your distance, and second is your language. One out of them, the distance problem is solved by nowadays by means of introducing long distance communication. And human communication took a dramatic turn in the late 19th century when electricity was discovered. So these were the some of the important inventions in the field of communication. Next is, what is the communication process? Okay, next we will came to know that what is the communication process. So in this process, in the communication process, communication involves the transmission of information from one point to the another through a succession of process, as firstly the generation of a thought pattern or image in the mind of originator, means which type of pattern or image we have to send. Next is description of that image with a certain measure of precision by set of oral visual symbols, means in the second step we can set of oral visual symbols for that image we can use. Next is encoding of these symbols are done, means the symbols are coded in the form of coding is done, and the suitable for the transmission over a physical medium. Physical medium means wired medium. Next is the transmission of the encoded symbols to the desired destination. We will transmit the coded symbols or signals to the desired destination where we want to send, means at the receiver. Next, decoding process and the reproduction of the original symbols are done at the receiver side. And the recreation, then in the last step, it will at the receiver, it will recreate the original thought pattern or image with a definable degradation quality in the mind of recipient. So means we will recreate our original image at the receiver side. So this was the communication process. Next is here, what are the various elements of a communication system? There are seven elements of a communication system. First is information source, second is input transducer, third is transmitter, and third is transmitter, fourth is channel, fifth is noise, sixth is receiver, and seventh is output transducer. So as you can see in the block diagram, first is information source, second is input transducer, next is transmitter, then channel, then receiver, then output transducer, and then noise. So we will do it by one. So essential components we have already discussed. There are 7 essential components. So first is information source. Sources of information are like speech, music, pictures, computer data, sound. These all are under the category of your information source. So first part is here information or the input signal, that is information source. The what is the main function of this block? The main function of this block is the communication systems have been developed for communicating useful information from one place to the another. Actually, we know that we will communicate from one place to the another, and this information can be in the form of sound like speech or music, or it can be form of your TV signals like pictures or data information coming from a computer. So this was the function of your information source. It will give us the sources of information. Next is your next block is your input transducer. Input transducer. So the function of this input transistor block is the information is in the form, actually our information is in the form of sound, picture or data signals that can't be transmitted directly. Firstly, it has to be converted into the electrical signal. So input transistor block do this job, and the input transistor commonly used in the communication systems like microphones, TV cameras. These all are the input transistors which are used for the communication purposes. So it will convert our information in the electrical form, which can be sent over the communication channel. Next is your transmitter. The transmitter, the function of the transmitter block is to convert the electrical equivalent of the information to a suitable form. Actually, it will transmit. So in addition to that, it also increases the power level of the signal. So before sending the signal, we should increase the power level of the signal. So the power level should be increased in order to cover a large range. The transmitter consists of electronic circuits such as amplifiers, mixers, oscillator, and the power amplifier. These all will be included in this section. Next is communication channel or medium. Communication channel or medium. The communication channel actually is the medium used for transmission of electronic signal from one place to the other. So the communication medium can be conducting wires, optical fibers, cables, and free space also. There are two types of communication system on the basically there are two types of communication systems based upon the communication medium or based upon the based upon the communication medium. First is wire communication or line communication, and second is your wireless communication or radio communication. So next we can see this is the sources of information which I have already said to you. So communication channel or medium, depending on the type of communication medium, two types of communication system will exist, or on the basis of mode of propagation, there will be two types of communication: wire communication or line communication, and second is your wireless communication or radio communication. Next is wireless communication or radio communication. So in the line communication or radio wire communication, the line communication system use the communication mediums like simple wires or cables or optical fibers. These can be used. Next is here the examples of such systems are like telegraph, telephone system, cable TV. These all are under the category of your wire communication. And due to the physical, actually there is a physical connection from one point to the another. So these systems cannot be used for the long distances. These wire communication is possible only for the short distances, not for the long distances, because we know that there should be dedicated link between the transmitter and the receiver. Next is your wireless communication or radio communication. Okay, in the case of radio communication, it uses the free space actually, and they do not need the wire for sending the information from one place to the another. Or radio or the TV broadcasting, satellite communication, these all are the wireless communication examples, because it uses the free space as medium, and the transmitted signal is in the form of electromagnetic waves, and the receiving antenna will pick up that signal and feed it to the receiver. Radio communication can be used for the long distance communication from one country to even other country, or one planet to the another planet. So this was the communication channel or the medium. Next block is your receiver. Next block is your receiver or receiver. The reception is exactly the opposite process of transmission. Actually, the receiver, the reception is exactly the opposite process of transmission. The received signal is amplified, demodulated, and converted into a suitable form. The receiver also consists of electronic circuits like mixer, oscillator, detector, amplifier. These all are the elements of your receiver. Okay, next is your output transducer. In the case of output transducer, the output transducer converts the electrical signal, because we know that we are receiving the signal in the form of electrical, but we have to translate it into the original form. So output transducer converts the electrical signal at the output of the receiver back to the original form, like sound or TV picture, etc. And the examples of the output transducers are like loudspeakers, picture tubes, computer monitor. These all are the output transducers. Now in the last, it is last block is noise. So noise block, function of the noise block is, actually the noise is unwanted signal. Actually noise is the unwanted electrical signal which gets added to the transmitted signal when it is traveling towards the receiver. Due to noise, actually due to noise, the quality of the transmitted information will degrade, and the once it added, it can't be separated out from the information. So hence its noise is a big problem actually in the communication system. And the noise can be either be natural or the man-made. The sources of actually the noise, natural noise, can be lightning, radiation from the sun and stars. These all are the natural noise. And the man-made noise include like electrical ignition, automobiles, electrical ignition systems like automobiles, welding machines, electric motors. These are all are the category of your man-made noise. Even though noise can't be completely eliminated, but its effect can be reduced by using the various techniques. And always noise is added during the channel or during the transmission from transmitter to the receiver. So this was the description about the elements of a basic communication system. Next topic is classification of electronic communication system. Next topic is your classification of electronic communication system. Actually, this is the diagram for that. We can see that there are three types of classification of electronic communication system. First is unidirectional / bidirectional communication. Next is based upon the nature of information signal, and next is based upon the techniques of transmission. In the based upon the unidirectional or bidirectional communication, we have three types of communication are next there: simplex system, half duplex, full duplex. Next, on the basis of nature of signal, it can be of two types: analog and digital. And on the basis of techniques of transmission, it can be of two types: baseband transmission and communication using modulation. Next is one by one we will do this. One by one we will do the simplex system. What is simplex system? Then half duplex, full duplex, analog, digital, then baseband transmission and communication using modulation. So first is your simplex system. Okay, based on the whether the system communication only done in the one direction or in the bidirectional mode. So it can be classified into simplex system, half duplex system, and full duplex system. In the simplex system, In these systems, the information is communicated in only one direction. Means radio or TV broadcasting systems can only transmit, they can't be received. So also the another example for the simplex communication is the telemetry system of a satellite to the earth. Means satellite can give the information to the earth. So the telemetry system transmits information about the physical status of the satellite, such as its position and or temperature. These all are the under the category of your simplex systems. Means one only communication is only in the one direction. Next, come to the point half duplex system. In the case of half duplex system, these systems actually are the bidirectional. Actually, these systems are the bidirectional systems. So they can transmit as well as receive, but not simultaneously. And the example for that is your walkie-talkie. The direction of communication actually alternates, and the radio communication such as military, firefighting, citizen band, and amateur radio are all the examples of half duplex system. Means they can transmit and receive both, but not simultaneously. Next is here full duplex. In case of full duplex, this is also truly bidirectional system. They allow the communication, actually they allow the communication to take place in both the directions simultaneously. These systems can transmit as well as receive simultaneously. For example, telephone. Actually, we are talking with each other simultaneously, and the bulk of electronic communication, however, is two-way. And the best example actually is the full duplex communication is your telephone system. Next is your classification based on the nature of information signal. Okay, on the basis of the nature of information signal, there are two types of communication system. One is your analog and second is your digital. In case of analog signals, voice signals, picture signals, music signals, these all are the analog signals. And the digital signals are like 0 and 1. And the digital signal can be also be obtained by the computer. So data used in the computers is in the form of your binary codes and binary codes, numbers, letters, and special symbols. And these can be transmitted by a wire or radio system. Next, classification based upon the technique of transmission. On the technique of transmission, we have the baseband transmission, and second is your communication system using modulation. Okay, first is your baseband signal and baseband transmission. Okay, baseband signal, the information, actually baseband signal, what do you mean by baseband signal? The electrical equivalent of the original signal. Actually, the original information signal, electrical equivalent of the original information signal is known as your baseband signal. And the information or the input signal to a communication system can be analog, like the sound, picture, or it can be digital, like computer data. In some systems, baseband transmission systems are used. Actually, the baseband signals, original information signals, are directly transmitted without any modulation. So the examples of these systems like telephone networks, where the sound signal converted into the electrical signal, and it is placed on the telephone lines for the communication or for the transmission. Computer data is also the another example for the baseband transmission. It can be sent over the coaxial cables, and the baseband transmission is actually the transmission of the original signal as it is, means without any modulation. So in the next slide, we can say that baseband signal is that signal that is generated from the information source, directly information source, without any processing. We are sending that signal, and it can be analog as well as your digital. So signal without modulation actually is known as your baseband signal. Now, second type of signal with modulation, the communication with the modulation uses the band pass signal or pass band signal. Signal with modulation or modulated signal is known as your band pass signal or pass band signal. It can also be analog or as digital. So next is here, what are the various limitations of using the baseband transmission? Means if we are sending the original signal directly, then what will be the limitations? The limitation for the baseband transmission is that it can't be used for with the certain mediums. Means it can't be used where the medium is your free space or radio transmission, because in this case voice signal can't travel long distance in the air. It can suppress, it gets suppressed after a short distance. So for radio communication we have to use a modulation. We have to use a modulation technique for sending your data to the large distance. So now next is the comparison of baseband and band pass transmission. Baseband transmission does not use actually modulator and demodulator, whereas it uses band pass uses modulator and demodulator. In case of baseband transmission, encoded signal has its own baseband frequencies, means no shifting of the original frequency to the high frequency range. But in case of passband transmission, the frequencies, baseband frequencies are shifted to the another some higher frequencies after the modulation. Next difference is if the baseband signal is transmitted directly, this is known as baseband transmission, and if it is modulated signal is transmitted, then it can be known as your band pass transmission. Next difference is baseband transmission is preferred at low frequencies, and band pass has the fixed band of frequencies around the carrier frequency. Next, it is used for the short distances. Band pass is used for the long distances. Next, baseband, more noise as signal is original, because signal is in the original form and more noise will be there. But in case of band pass, less noise as signal is modulated, as signal is in the modulated form. Baseband transmission example for that is general telephony, and band pass transmission like AM and FM. Means amplitude modulation and frequency modulation. Next is here. Next topic is here. What is the concept of modulation? Actually, what is modulation? Modulation actually, if we want to go from Amritsar to Delhi, we know that we should go. We have to take a bus or car or plane to travel to that place. So information. So actually, we are the information here, and the bus or car will be actually the carrier. You can see a car or we are actually the information signal. A car is treated as your carrier because which carries you from one place to the another. So, so the bus or car is a carrier which takes us to the destination, and the same technique is used in the actually modulation. In the modulation process, actually the baseband signal, that is the signal without modulation, is called the modulating signal, and the another frequency we will use another frequency, higher frequency signal, that is called carrier. The carrier signal will carry the modulating signal to the destination actually. And the modulation can be analog modulation or the digital modulation. The carrier actually is in the sine wave at higher frequencies than the information baseband signal. The baseband signal actually modify the amplitude or frequency or phase of the carrier. So that's why we have the three types of modulation: AM, FM, PM. AM stands for amplitude modulation, FM stands for frequency modulation, and third is PM stands for your phase modulation. Depending upon the parameter, actually, depending upon the on which parameter of the carrier is gained, modulation techniques are of AM, FM, PM. In AM, actually in AM, amplitude of the carrier is varied. Actually, in case of AM, the amplitude of the carrier is varied in proportion with the instantaneous amplitude of the baseband signal and keeping its frequency and phase. Other two, phase and frequency, will be kept constant. In case of frequency modulation, frequency of the carrier will be varied in proportion with the instantaneous amplitude of the phase-back signal, whereas amplitude and phase are constant. In the third case, in the case of phase modulation, phase of the carrier actually will be modified in proportion with the instantaneous amplitude of the phase-back signal, and other two parameters like amplitude and frequency will be kept constant. The modulation process actually is the process of having a baseband voice, video or digital signal and modify another higher frequency signal called as carrier. And this is done because high frequency carrier signal is more compatible with the medium, such as free space, and propagates through it with a greater efficiency. So this was the modulation process. This was the modulation process.